I am your host, Dave Palumbo, and today's topic is going to be diuretic use. And joining me today is probably one of the more knowledgeable people in this subject matter. A matter of fact, someone who's actually saved people's lives on diuretics. Of course, it's our good friend, Milos Sarshev. Welcome back to the show.
It's super dangerous. People don't know what they're doing, and they can really lose their lives.
Yeah, there was a death of a competitor in Tampa a couple weeks ago, Mariola Suarez, who a couple days after the show passed as these diuretics continue to keep working.
Okay, if I ask you, who do you think is the best conditioned, driest athlete in bodybuilding of all time?
Andreas Munzer.
Andreas Munzer, no question. So I was friends with him, and he was using potassium loading and aldactone at the same time.
What? Wow.
Yes. Point, he will get like 10 milligrams of Lasix.
Did he understand that? Did he understand what he was doing? And potassium, the majority of potassium in your body should be inside the cells. Okay, inside the muscle cells, inside your cells, not outside the cells. And the majority of your sodium should be outside your cells. That creates what's called the gradient, so that your cells can contract and the muscles contract. When there's too much potassium outside of the cells and in the bloodstream, that's known as hyperkalemia, too much potassium. And because of that, the muscles can't contract properly. When that happens, when the muscles, however, in your heart stops and you die. Okay, it's one thing if your bicep it can't contract or relax. It's another thing when your heart can't do that. And so a lot of people think, if I take potassium-sparing diuretics, in other words, diuretics that only cause the loss of sodium, I'm safe. I can take as many as I want of those. Because if I cramp, I'll just take some sodium in. No, if you cramp or anything goes wrong, you eat sodium and it fixes the problem. It's a very simple solution. But I'm hearing totals, Milos, that people are taking 600 milligrams of aldactone a day. That's suicidal.
The highest that I know in bodybuilding back in the 90s, all of us, including like Dorian and other guys who competed, would be 150 milligrams a day. Let's just touch also Mumba Benaziza, one of the best bodybuilders of all time, and I want to give him credit. The day when he won and day when he died, that was probably one of the best bodybuilders I've ever seen in my life. 92, Den Haag. I mean, he was incredible, yes, but already during finals, he couldn't even, walk out to accept the trophy. And, there was a little bit, irresponsibility from IBB at that time, Wayne D'Amelia. And instead of taking him to the hospital, having him rehydrated, they actually sent a doctor. And Thierry Pastel told us when doctor came, he shoot him with a high potassium level electrolyte solution.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Killed him. They killed him, basically.
They killed him. They really. Yeah. And these things are happening around the world. And it could happen. You cannot guess. You have to know what you're doing. So if you're choosing to have potassium-sparing diuretic, be sure that you're going to probably be hyperkalemic, especially if you're taking a high carbohydrate foods. Any kind of muscle cramping, the dryness of mouth, like dehydration symptoms should be alarming. Maybe a small dosage of hydrochlorothiazide could actually, very, very wise idea. But high dosage is a different story.
Look, I tell people, when people do these extreme things and I see these horrible things happen and people die or wind up in the hospital, they're doing something special, they're earning their money, so to speak. And most of the time, it just screws things up and makes things dangerous. And if you use Diazide, there's no risk of anything going wrong. You can fix the problem very simply by eating some sodium and drinking a little water. You cramp even on Diazide, it's usually just because you've depleted too much sodium out. It's not that you're too dehydrated. So a lot of times just eating sodium, putting a little sodium on your food, salt on your food.
A teaspoon of salt is a little bit too much. It's I did this one time with Armin Schultz. So back in the 90s also and early 2000s, there was a lot of people that would stop sodium month before the show.
Oh, no, that's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. No, get this. I went to Dominican Republic in 2010 and I've seen like a bunch of guys who are competing. They would start taking diuretics 1 month before.
What? Oh my
For
God.
the love of God. Seriously. And
Crazy.
for I don't know what reason, this was accepted. Like, oh yeah, you're contesting.
Well, because they think that if you lose water, you're losing fat. They somehow combine the two together in their heads.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see more people dying. It's so unnecessary and so unavoidable. So thank you for joining us.